The AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic on Fox is sponsored by AT&T. Rethink Possible. By Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Visa. More people go with Visa. And by The One, the Accord from Honda.
Welcome back inside Cowboys Stadium, moments away from the opening kickoff. Let's head downstairs. John Lynch standing by with LSU head coach Les Miles.
Well, thanks, Kenny. Coach Miles, at yesterday's luncheon, both teams were there. You heaped praise on the Texas A&M Aggies, but at the end you said we will rise to the challenge. Was that a message to your team or to theirs?
Well, I wanted them to know that we look forward to the competition, as does the other 90,000 that crowded this arena.
Coach, you always bring a bag of tricks into your games. Is that bag full today?
Hey, we want to get it done before third down.
I gotcha. Great. Good luck to you, Coach. Thank you, Kenny. Back up to you.
All right, thanks very much, John. Darryl, this crowd is ready.
This is an unbelievable experience, Kenny. I love the atmosphere of the college football game. I don't think Les Miles gave John a true answer. I think he's got some things in the bag of tricks.
We shall see. LSU with a record of 10-2. Won the toss, elected to defer, so Josh Jasper will get things started for the Tigers. Texas A&M comes in at 9-3. They won 6 consecutive games. Coriel Judy back deep has returned a pair of kickoffs for touchdowns for the Aggies this season. And the 75th AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic is underway as Judy kicks it out. Coriel Judy across midfield. And he is finally forced out of bounds by Tyrann Mathieu. A 69-yard return of the opening kickoff by Judy.
You heard the guys talk about it in the pregame show. In a tight game, you expect special teams to be the difference maker, but nobody expected it to be A&M special teams. What a great job by the blockers up front. Just opened up an alley. They went right at the best special teams player for LSU, Daniel Graff.
69 yards. The second longest kickoff return in Cotton Bowl history. The junior out of Big Spring, Texas, Ryan Tannehill. 1st and 10 from the 31-yard line for Texas A&M as Cyrus Gray runs right into the arms of Kendrick Adams. A look at Ryan Tannehill. Texas A&M 5-0 with Tannehill as the starter this season. Empty backfield, Gray in the slot. 2nd down and 9. Everybody out for the Aggies. Tannehill with time. And the pass is caught at the 19-yard line for a first down by Ozomo Wachaku, gain of 11.
And expect that to be the area of the field that A&M goes after all night long. Cyrus Gray has been on a tear the last 6 weeks. Jeff Fuller on the verge of a 1,000-yard season.
Tannehill 2 for 2. Henrik McNeil forced out of bounds by Kelvin Shepard after a gain of 9.
And here's one of the big keys for me. Luke Jokel, Jake Matthews, true freshmen as tackles. They have grown up during the course of the season. They have played well down the stretch.
A young offensive line with only one senior. 2nd down and 1 from the LSU 10. The inside handoff to Cyrus Gray, and he picks up an Aggie first down.
One of the challenges as they attack the middle of this LSU defense will be Drake Nevis, who's the first-team All-SEC tackle up front. But the Aggies know that the strength of this LSU defense is on the perimeter. Patrick Peterson at cornerback, Morris Claiborne, Stephen Francois, and Ryan Baker as the outside linebackers. They want to get into the middle of that Tiger defense.
First and goal for Texas A&M from the LSU 6. Tannehill, touchdown. Wachaku gives the Aggies the early lead.
You come into a big game and you talk about getting off to a good start. And A&M could not have scripted a better start to this game. The area of concern that everybody had coming into the game was that special teams matchup. They send a message on the opening kickoff, and then their offense gets into that up-tempo rhythm.
Randy Bullock connects on the extra point. So LSU elects to defer. Coriel Judy, 69-yard return, leading to the Wachaku touchdown. An early lead for Texas A&M. As Mike Sherman's quick return there, Coriel Judy return the opening kickoff, 69 yards, giving the Aggies a short field.
I mean, it's a good decision by Les Miles. You defer at that point because you're playing to your strength, your special teams matchup, your defense, the speed, the aggressive nature. It just completely backfires on LSU.
Patrick Peterson, one of the best return men in the country, tripped up shy of the 20. Jordan Jefferson, the junior from St. Rose, Louisiana, leading the LSU offense onto the field.
And really the big question for me for this LSU offense is how do they adjust to going up against the Aggies 3-4 defense? They don't see it in the SEC. It will change some protection rules. It will change some of his reads in the option game.
First and 10 from the 18-yard line. This is Stephen Ridley. Big news earlier this week. He had been ruled academically ineligible by the NCAA, reinstated on Monday.
And I really think you're going to get a big dose of that this evening. And here goes LSU matching that A&M up-tempo style, going without a huddle.
On 2nd and 6, the toss to Ridley. And he's bottled up after a gain of just 1. Les Miles told us we can play fast too.
They can, and they did it against Arkansas. And it really worked well. They got into him. I think it really helps Jordan Jefferson in those situations.
3rd down and 4. Tigers must get to the 28. Michael Ford has replaced Ridley in the backfield. Jefferson out of the shotgun. Looks to throw for the first time. And the pass was behind the intended receiver, Terrence Tolliver.
That play just didn't look right from the beginning. They came out, got up to the line of scrimmage. They went back and forth, switching plays, trying to anticipate what that A&M defense was going to do. LSU looked very confused on that play.
Tigers go 3 and out. Derek Helton back at his own 10-yard line. Kendrick McNeil. Good throw. Helton in trouble with the snap. End over end kick taken out to 32. There is a flag. Back in the vicinity of the punter, Helton.
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker. The defense. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Those are huge penalties to give the opposition a new set of downs. And I think Tony Hurt Jr. was so surprised when he got back to the punter that the ball was still there. He had an opportunity to block this. There's the little bobble. I mean, he's there plenty of time.
And in the college game, it does not matter that the ball hit the ground. You still cannot rough the kicker. That was the catch.
Actually, Lionel Smith, not Tony Hurt Jr. with the contact.
So LSU with a new set of downs. from the 39-yard line. Jefferson looking left. He throws. And the catch is made by Ruben Randall. Stays on his feet and takes it out to the 48-yard line. Just shy of the marker. Randall, 31 receptions this season. Sophomore from Bastrop, Louisiana.
And that's what you'll see. You'll see LSU go to the heart of that A&M defense with that strong running game. And then as the changeup, they'll get that speed on the outside.
Three receivers set. Richard Murphy, the lone back. Second down and 1. Jefferson on the option, picks up a first down. Got Murphy to his right, held on to the football and takes it into Aggie territory, gain of 7.
That's why I think you'll see more of Jordan Jefferson tonight than of Jarrett Lee. The offense expands when he's in there because of his ability to run with the football. The option game becomes a key component for LSU's offense. If he can handle the changes in that 3-4 scheme and get the ball out on time tonight, he should get the extended playing time.
Jefferson rushed for nearly 400 yards this season. Ridley checks back in, takes the toss from Jefferson, running hard up the middle. Down to the Aggie 38. Stephen Ridley gains 7.
Really enjoyed our opportunity to sit down and talk to Stephen Ridley. And he was reinstated on Monday for an academic violation. And this is something that he was vehement about when he went to the people at LSU and told them, I am not guilty of what they are charging me with. And they hung in there, they stood behind him. He got cleared on Monday. He had been practicing off and on, but he was able to start the week building up to this game with a clear mind.
So I was innocent. I kept my head held high. Spencer Ware replaces Ridley. James Stampley in at fullback. Second down and 3. This is Ware. He picks up a first down and more. Finally tackled at the 27-yard line by Terrence Frederick. When we spoke with Stephen Ridley, he said all the other running backs were hot on his heels, including Ware, who took a lot of the reps during Ridley's suspension.
And I think he was very impressed on how Spencer Ware handled the entire situation, because he was going to lose snaps this evening with him being reinstated, and Spencer Ware was the most appreciative of him being reinstated. He was so happy to have his teammate back.
8th play of this drive kept alive by the roughing the kicker penalty. Here's Ridley. Ridley takes it down to the Texas A&M 22-yard line. Montre Moore made the tackle, gain of 4.
Now the reason why you're seeing LSU attack the center of this Aggies defense is because the most athletic guys are on the outside, very similar to what you have with LSU's defense. You've got Von Miller and Sean Porter as the outside linebackers. Les Miles wants to avoid those guys. The way to do that, run up between your tackles, challenge those inside linebackers to make the plays.
Got a look at Von Miller, number 40, Buckus Award winner, top linebacker in the nation. 2nd and 6, Jefferson out of the shotgun, off the fake, and he's down at the 24-yard line. Trent Hunter, free safety, makes the tackle along with Michael Hodges.
Michael Hodges, 226 pounds, 225 pounds of it is hard. One of the nicest guys you'll meet. And here we'll go. We'll take a look. Jonathan Mathis. A lot of the pressure is going to go to that nose guard. And there with Hodges and Williams as the inside linebackers. Those running plays are going to come right down the chute.
And there's Coriel Judy. His 69-yard return at the opening kickoff led to the early Texas A&M score. 3rd down and 7 for the LSU Tigers. Off the play fake. Jefferson fires downfield, and it is picked off by Judy. Coriel Judy with the 69-yard return of the opening kickoff, and now his 4th interception of the season. Early thoughts on the MVP of this game?
The AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic on Fox is sponsored by Bud Light. It's a sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
Back in Arlington, the Texas A&M Aggies lead the LSU Tigers 7-0. Following the first turnover of this game, Aggies start from their own 2-yard line. Double tight end set here. Cyrus coming out of the end zone. Forced out of bounds at the 7.
Let's go back and take a look at that interception. Clear up some college rules. Coriel Judy's going to intercept this ball outside the 5-yard line. That means momentum does not come into play. If he would have touched down in the end zone right there, that's a safety. 2 points to LSU. Heads up play by Coriel Judy, understanding that rule and getting out and saving his team 2 points.
Fortunately for the Aggies. .223 yards on the ground in the Aggies' last game against Texas.
Pretty modest guy when we met him. We couldn't get him to say something positive about himself, to brag a little bit. He's been on such a great run. We sat down with his offensive line. They did all the talking. He just sat behind him just like in the game. And we asked him, when you meet somebody like that, usually they talk a lot on the field. Every one of his offensive lines said, no, he's just like this during the game. Doesn't say a word.
Out of DeSoto High School, along with 3 of his Aggie teammates, about 20 miles from Cowboy Stadium. Tannehill, a pump fake on first down. Now he takes off. Ryan Tannehill with a first down and more. Still on his feet. And finally forced out of bounds at the 43-yard line by Eric Reed. Tannehill gains 32.
Watch the decision by Ryan Tannehill. Great protection up front, but he can't find anybody downfield. Man-to-man coverage. Look at all that open field in front of him. And there's some nice moves down the field. Ryan Tannehill is not just a pocket passer. He's got some good elusive running skills.
Terrific athlete. He was the Aggies' leading receiver each of the last 2 seasons. Started this year at wide receiver as well.
5th all-time for the Aggies.
That's right. Here's Tannehill to the outside. And the catch is made by Jeff Fuller, who's approaching the 1,000-yard mark for the season. No Aggie has ever gotten that high in one season. The son of the former 49ers safety with the same name. We had a nice chat with his dad earlier this week.
Yeah, good to see his father down on the field in for this game.
Fuller's 66th reception this season. 2nd down and 1. On 2nd and 1, it's Gray. And Cyrus Gray picks up the first down the sidelines, and finally tackled inside the 30. Gray picks up 19 yards.
The biggest thing that the coaches said about Cyrus Gray during this run is how patient he has become as a runner. That was great right there. He had Drake Nevis right in his face. He didn't panic, stayed on his track.
Off the fake to Gray. Tannehill throws, and this pass is high, intended for the Aggies' leading receiver this season, Ryan Swope, who's playing with a sprained left foot. There's Mike Sherman. Spent 6 years as the head coach of the Green Bay Packers in his 3rd season with the Aggies.
Great to see Mike Sherman. Really miss him at the NFL. Always one of my favorite guys to meet with when he was up in Green Bay. Great to see him getting this Texas Aggie football program turned around and headed in the right direction.
He was an assistant under R.C. Slocum in College Station. First run of the game for Bradley Stevens, the junior out of McAllen, Texas, giving Gray a blow. And Stevens picks up 70, rushed for over 7,800 yards during his high school career.
It's going to be interesting to watch this LSU defense as the game goes on. They practice this up-tempo style of offense, but you can never match the intensity and the pace that your opponent is going to do.
3rd down and 3 off the hand of Fuller. Patrick Peterson on the coverage.
It just looks to me from time to time that they're struggling a little bit with the tempo that A&M is carrying during the course of the game so far. They ran 2 platoon systems, had 2 different offenses coming on so they could roll in as fast as they could, but you would never match Texas A&M's speed.
Watch the snap.
Aggies average over 80 offensive plays per game, 3rd in the nation. This is Randy Bullock.
Up and away.
39-yard attempt, and Bullock's kick is straight through. The junior from Klein, Texas. So the Aggies have extended their lead. Just over 5 minutes remaining in the first quarter. 10-0. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and College Station, Texas, 308 miles apart. Their football programs, LSU, Texas A&M, Meeting tonight here in Arlington in front of a sold-out crowd at Cowboys Stadium and a primetime audience on Fox, and the Aggies out to a 10-0 lead.
And really, the big thing has been their special teams. You know, the big kickoff return by Coriel Judy to start the game has the interception to end that last drive, and then a nice field goal. There's some areas of concern coming into this game, paying huge dividends for the Aggies.
Kickoff bounces into the end zone for a touchback.
The AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic is sponsored by new Gillette Fusion Pro Glide. Turn shaving into gliding and skeptics into believers. By Taco Bell, think outside the bun. And by AT&T, rethink possible.
Welcome back. LSU trailing by 10. Start from their own 20-yard line. It's Jefferson on the keeper, and he gains 8. Tackled at the 28-yard line by Frederick and Judy.
It's been fun for me to watch the different style of play at the collegiate level. That's one of my favorite plays there, is this zone read scheme evolves at the college level with the athletic quarterback. You put so much stress on the defense. I mean, they have got to prepare for so many different things. These offenses are so multiple, both sides of the ball.
LSU drove 58 yards on their first possession, but then Jefferson was picked off by Judy. Second down and 2 off the delay. It's Stephen Ridley, and Ridley picks up a first down, gain of 3 out to the 31 before he was tackled by another one of those DeSoto natives, Garrett Williams, part of the DeSoto 4.
Becoming a nice little area for the Texas A&M Aggies to recruit down to DeSoto. 4 starters on the team. Von Miller, Garrett Williams, calling up all their guys back home.
This time Jefferson hands it off to Russell Shepard. He turns the corner and then is knocked out of bounds by Campbell and Williams. For more on the DeSoto 4, we check in downstairs with Charles Davis. Charles?
All right, guys, I heard you talking about those 4 players, Cyrus Gray, Tony Gerard, Eddie Von Miller, and Garrett Williams. They call themselves as close as brothers. In fact, Tony Gerard, Eddie moved in with Von Miller's family in high school. So that the idea that they're as close as brothers, that's exemplified by that move.
Thanks, Charles. They all moved on to the next level together. Second down and 6. From the 35. 3 receivers all split to the left. Jefferson throws right, and the pass is incomplete, intended for D'Angelo Patterson. Michael Hodges got a piece of it.
You take a look at the DeSoto 4 right there. Cyrus Gray, key contributor on the offense. Tony Jarrett, Eddie up in that defensive line. Garrett Williams, one of those inside linebackers. There's Von Miller, the Dick Butkus Award winner. And I love the fact that he came back to A&M for his senior year. I'm so happy that he was able to experience a season like they have had this year.
17 sacks, led the nation last year. Return to the Aggies, and what a year it has been. Jefferson on 3rd down, and the pass is caught for a first down by Ruben Randall. Takes it out to the 45-yard line for a gain of 10.
Oh, this is a nice play on both sides of the ball. Von Miller is so good at getting low. Watch how low he gets and dips with power right there. Keeps his feet. He's right in the face of Jordan Jefferson. He doesn't flinch. Stands there, knows he's going to take the hit, makes a nice throw down the field.
Miller to the sideline. New set of downs for the LSU Tigers. The toss to Michael Ford. He slips. No gain. He saw Terrence Frederick coming.
Oh, the big problem on that play was the snap from the center. You've got so much action in the backfield that it's got to be a perfectly clean snap. And when it didn't get that back there clean, they were actually very fortunate that something worse didn't happen.
P.J. Lonergan, a second-generation Tiger, is the center number 64. Sophomore from New Orleans. 2nd and 10. Jefferson pulls it down, takes off across midfield, has a first down. Out of bounds at the Aggie 42. Jefferson picks up 13.
Oh, what a great burst getting around the corner on this one. So much speed out of the perimeter to defend. Everything gets bottled up inside. And when he turns this corner, I thought there were a couple of Aggies that had the angle on him. But Jordan Jefferson just eliminated that with the run down the sideline.
The injured Aggie on the LSU sideline is Demontre Moore, true freshman.
We talked about Von Miller. We've talked about Sean Porter, but Demontre Moore, another one of those outside linebackers here for Texas A&M. You get into a 3rd down situation, and they're actually going to bring in Von Miller and Demontre Moore, put them out there on the field together as rush ends. So this will be a big loss for the Aggies if Demontre can't finish this game.
Head coach Mike Sherman has crossed the field to check in on.
We actually have 2 down. Looks like Michael Hodges is down too. Yeah, I don't know which one would be a bigger loss right there.
Moore heading back under his own power.
Defensive coordinator Tim DeRuyter for Texas A&M calls Michael Hodges the glue of that defense. He reminds me a lot of Bill Bates. Undersized, shouldn't be this fast, can't play. Everybody wants to say all the things that Michael Hodges can't do, and all he does is go out on the field every Saturday and show them all the things he can do.
Bill Bates, the former Cowboy. Hodges, the recipient of the Scholar Athlete Award at the Big Play Luncheon yesterday. You see our yellow first down line. It's brought to you by AT&T at the 32. With just over 2 minutes remaining, first quarter from Cowboy Stadium. Texas A&M out to a 10-0 lead over LSU. Jefferson off the play fake, firing downfield for Tolliver. He's got a touchdown. 42 yards.
Jordan Jefferson is really getting into a rhythm running this LSU offense. Again, some great ball action in the backfield. You get your eyes in the wrong position, all of a sudden you've got Terrence Tolliver running by here into the middle of the field.
Terrence Tolliver, the Tigers' leading receiver, the senior from Hempstead, Texas. Jasper, the extra point. The Tigers capitalize. They pull to within 3.
There's the little fake right there. You've got Russell Shepard and Stephen Ridley in the backfield. You're so worried about some trickery there, and then look at the middle of the field open up for Terrence Tolliver. And here's the adjustment on the ball. He's going across the field. It gets kind of straight up on the field. Look at that little burst at the end to outrun that ball. Look at the hand-to-eye coordination. Catches the back of the ball.
Jefferson celebrates. It's only his 5th touchdown pass of the season.
This is a running team at its core. They want to be able to come out and run the ball. And we've seen the downhill inside between the tackle style with Stephen Ridley. We've also seen Russell Shepard on the edge. We've seen Jordan Jefferson pull the ball down, scramble a little bit, also in some of those zone read schemes with the option element to it, where he's made some good decisions. So there's so much that you have to defend against that LSU offense in the running game.
The Aggies have scored on both of their possessions. The Tigers answer on a 42-yard touchdown pass from Jefferson to Tolliver. Kickoff taken by Judy at the 5. Brought the opening kickoff back 69 yards. And this time he is brought down after crossing the 30 by Lamine Barrow. 28-yard return. There is Patrick Peterson, who won the Bednarik Award as the top defensive player in the nation, the Thorpe Award, top DB in the nation, SEC Defensive Player of the Year, SEC Special Teams Player of the Year.
And as good as he is on defense, there's people that think he's actually a better returner. And John Lynch talked about that in the pregame, he and Charles Davis. And I agree. We were out here on Tuesday at practice, and I got to talk to some Dallas Cowboys scouts, and they said he may be better than Des Bryant in the return game, which is a bold statement.
On first down, the toss to Cyrus Gray. Gray across the 40. Pushed out of bounds after picking up 11 yards. And an Aggies first down. There's Kelvin Shepard, one of the leaders of this LSU defense. They had allowed only 38 points. That's 3.2 per game in the first quarter this season. They had not allowed an opening drive score in 12 games this year. Tannehill rolling to his left. And he finds his man, Swope. And Ryan Swope picks up another Texas A&M first down, gain of 16.
Now right now, Texas A&M, because of the success in their running game, is going to have some huge plays in the play-action game here. They have the defensive line of LSU chasing everything when they see run.
On first down, this is Cyrus Gray. And Gray takes it to the 33-yard line. Craig Ralston forced him out. You know, we referenced that opening drive. First points allowed on an opening drive. The LSU defense this year had not even been on the field for one play in their own territory on an opening drive this season. An opponent had not crossed midfield on an opening possession.
And that's how they started the game.
Thanks to the long kick return. From the 33, off the play fake. Catch is made by Fuller for another Aggies first down. Fuller gains 10. And he goes over the 1,000-yard mark. First Aggie to do so in school history. Over 1,000 receiving yards for Jeff Fuller. Empty backfield, Gray in the slot. Time winding down to this first quarter from the 24-yard line off the left hand of Swope.
When we talked about Texas A&M wanting to attack the middle of the field because of the strength on the outside, but you can't go away from Jeff Fuller. You've got to play to your strength also. And there you see right there the first Aggie ever with 1,000 yards receiving. And that's going to be a fun matchup to watch all evening long. It's strength versus strength. Jeff Fuller against Patrick Peterson.
Fuller has also set a school record with 12 touchdown receptions this season. 5 receivers, empty backfield. Play clock at 3. Aggies got the snap away. Here comes the pressure. Ball is knocked away from Tannehill. And it is recovered by the right tackle, the true freshman, Jake Matthews. His father, Bruce, is a Hall of Famer. His cousin, Clay Jr., plays for the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, well, when your guy gets by and makes a sack hit on the quarterback that causes the fumble, you got to get back and help him out. Tyrann Mathieu got really, really small as he came around that corner.
First quarter comes to an end. 10-7 Aggies.
Dickie Magel of Rice was on his way to a 95-yard touchdown run when Alabama's Tommy Lewis inexplicably came off the bench to tackle him. Magel was still given the score as Rice pounded the Crimson Tide behind Magel's 265 rushing yards and 3 TDs.
And Tommy Lewis stopped Dickie Magel on that play, but it was still awarded a 95-yard touchdown. Dickie Magel joins me now. Dickie, what do you remember about that play the most?
Well, I remember that I looked over to my left to see if the other guy had a chance of catching me. And then I looked back to my right and I saw this guy crouching down. And I thought maybe his headgear had fallen off and he was going to go for it. And the next thing I know, he's right in front of me. And he came and I just veered just a slight bit to my left. Or he might have broken my back or my legs or something. Could have really, but it was a good shot. And of course we got a touchdown for it, 95 yards. But it was a good shot.
It sure was. We got a play going now.
Tannehill firing downfield, intended for Wachaque. Charles?
Dickie, that play went 95 yards and you were awarded a touchdown. But what people don't know is you ran for 265 that day. It wasn't just one big run.
Yeah, 265 yards on 11 carries was a pretty good day in those days. And I think it was, somebody said it was a 24, 26 yard per carry. So it was pretty good average. I think it was the record was good for 50 yards, I'm told.
All right, probably the highest yards per carry in a ball game. Dickie Mago, the All-American.
And how about this, Charles? Off the right upright, Randy Bullock attempting a 52-yard field goal. His career long is 50, and the longest ever Cotton Bowl field goal is a 50-yarder as well. So Bullock off the right upright. He came close now.
You know, I think a little bit is that of the confidence that this special teams has shown during the early part of this game to allow Mike Sherman to take a shot at that field goal. Well, he hits that thing dead center on the upright. I was doing the math. If Dickie Mago played in the 54 Cotton Bowl, that's 57 years ago. He looks awful good.
He does. Looks great. Third offensive series for the Tigers as Ridley takes it out to the 42. Jefferson remains in at quarterback. Normally, Les Miles goes to Jarrett Lee on the third series, but Jefferson, his last play was the 42-yard touchdown pass.
Kind of hard to make a switch after the play that they finished that last series on. And really, you talk about the way the game started. There was the potential for a 3-and-out. They get the roughing the kicker call that extends that drive. Since that time, Jordan Jefferson has played very well.
Second down and 3 from the 42. Here's Ridley. And he picks up a first down. By the way, this drive started at the 35. In the NFL, and a missed field goal, the opposing team then takes over from the spot of the kick. But, of course, in college football, it's from the previous line of scrimmage. That is why the Tigers started at the 35-yard line. And the bad news for the Texas A&M defense, Michael Hodges suffered that knee injury. We are told he will not return.
You know what? When he was going off the field, I think he gutted that out all the way across. They tried to get him to put an arm around and take weight off of that injured knee.
Penalty markers prior to the snap. Randy Smith, our referee. The officials from Conference USA.
Offside. The defense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That was the plan for LSU coming in, was to go right after the middle of that Texas A&M defense. Now with Michael Hodges out of there, you wonder if they'll even lean on that play call a little bit more.
First and 5 following the penalty from the Aggies' 47. Spencer Ware spins for a first down, still on his feet. And he is finally brought down from behind. He stepped out at the 23-yard line, so Ware gains 24.
Trent Hunter's got him right at the hole for maybe a 2-yard gain, drops his head. A good spin move by Spencer Ware. I tell you, Stephen Ridley told us how deep they were at running back, and when you can just continually throw athletes that are this talented, keep them fresh all game long, this is going to be a tough chore for this A&M defense to keep pace.
Spencer Ware, a true freshman, picked up the first. Ridley back in from the Aggie 23. Looks to run to his right, and he's tackled for a loss by Trent Hunter back at the 24-yard line. Loss of 1. By the way, getting back to Dickie Mago for a second, he was awarded that 95-yard touchdown run. Also ran for a 79-yard touchdown earlier in the same quarter. He would go on to play in the NFL for the 49ers, the Steelers, and the Dallas Cowboys in 1961, their second season.
Yeah, well, you take away the 95-yard run, that's still a heck of a day. 10 for what's that, 170? That's still 17 yards per carry.
Looks like he could still play.
The math isn't computing for me.
Second down and 11 for the LSU Tigers. Jefferson with time, fires into the end zone. He was looking for D'Angelo Peterson, the 6'4" tight end. has the body of a wide receiver.
Yeah, he'll line up at the tight end spot, but he is not going to be a guy that's going to drive people off the line of scrimmage. And a lot of times, what LSU will do offensively is kind of hide people through the formation, try and get a mismatch by position. D'Angelo Peterson is one of those guys. All of a sudden, he'll line up as a true tight end, but as you mentioned, Kenny, he has the body and the skill set of a wide receiver.
LSU 1 for 3 on 3rd down today. From the Texas A&M 24. Jefferson out of the shotgun. Takes off. And Jordan Jefferson picks up the first down. He had Richard Murphy leading the way. Finally tackled by Garrett Williams. Jefferson gains 13 on a new set of downs for LSU.
One of the things you have to understand is because of the long gap in between the end of the season and the bowl game, these teams probably know each other better than any opponent they have faced. Even somebody they face on a yearly basis within conference. 41 days since LSU has practiced or played their last game. 19 days of practice in between. Heavy practices to get ready for this A&M team.
Longest ever gap between games for both schools. Jefferson already with 40 yards on the ground. Hands it off. Lets Ridley do the work this time. And Ridley gains 1. Stephen Campbell brought him down at the 10-yard line.
I like the composure of this LSU team. I mean, things couldn't have gone worse for them the way this game has started, but they've kind of hung in there. They've righted the ship right now.
Les Miles deviating from the plan, leaving Jefferson in for the 3rd series.
I like the decision, though. He was hot coming off that last drive. You come into the game with a plan, but all of a sudden, the way the game shifts and moves, you have to change that plan. It's important for coaches to have the courage to go against something they may have decided to do prior to the start of the game.
2nd down and 9. Play clock at 4. Off the delay. Here's Ridley up the middle. And he is ruled down just shy of the goal line.
Well, I have been impressed with him as a north-south runner. And he is just hitting this hole so fast. Shoulders square. Subtle moves. Remember, in college, every play is reviewed. See if Les wants him to slow it down a little bit, maybe so they have time to take a look at that. It looked like the ball may have been extended over the goal line.
Has challenged the ruling on the previous play.
Each coach with 1 challenge. As you mentioned, Darryl, every play is reviewed upstairs. Both coaches have 1 challenge as well.
The question will be, is any part of the body down before that ball breaks the plane? Hard to see right now with the umpire right there. If any part of Stephen Ridley's back was on the ground before he broke the plane with the ball.
Certainly looked like Ridley was down. As we take another look at it. Looks a little bit closer on that replay.
I agreed. It looked like when his body hit the ground that the arm was upright, that it hadn't stretched off to break the plane. Right there you can see it would be nudged right up against the goal line.
Well, Darryl, the Fox Command Center has moved from Los Angeles to Arlington, Texas, as we welcome in the former NFL Vice President of Officiating, Mike Pereira.
On the field is confirmed. It's a first down. LSU is charged with a first down now.
So, Mike, the ruling on the field was confirmed. It is a first down, not a touchdown. Ridley did not cross the plane. Do you agree?
I agree, because you see it's again one of those that was too really tight to really tell if he had broken the plane or not. They're not going to move the ball fractionally closer to the goal line, so they did what they should have done. And Jim Ina, good stop, the Conference USA replay guy, good stop by him to take a look at this, because it was close. But I think Conference USA all year long has done a good job of staying with the call on the field unless there's clear evidence to overturn it.
Good to see you here, Mike.
Great to be here. Absolutely great to be here.
Welcome to North Texas.
Hey, man, it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
So it's first and goal for LSU. Jefferson off the play fake to Ridley. Jefferson takes it in. The Tigers touchdown.
Stephen Ridley had me. If I was playing linebacker, I would have been filling the A gap and watching Jordan Jefferson boot to the corner myself. I love a player that sells out and does everything. His opportunity to score ends zone about 3 inches short of the goal line, but on the next play when his number is not called, he goes in and gives a great fake that allows Jordan Jefferson to just walk to the pylon.
We mentioned earlier Jefferson has only 5 touchdown passes. Well, he's run for a score 7 times. Jasper the extra point. The LSU Tigers have come back from a 10-point deficit. They now lead by 4. LSU Tigers playing in their school record 11th consecutive bowl game, 6th under Les Miles. Texas A&M led 10-0, but the Tigers have come back with touchdowns on consecutive drives. Jasper's kickoff, taken out the goal line by Coriel Judy. And Judy tripped up as he crossed the 20 by Matthew.
Let's go back and take a look at that touchdown by LSU. Show you how important that fake was by Stephen Ridley. Tyler Edwards is going to motion across. Get over here, show a real heavy run left formation. They're not going to block Von Miller right there. Watch. This is how important the fake is by Stephen Ridley. Gets him to bite inside. That gets Jordan Jefferson out on the edge with a run throw. I tell you what, that's a lot of confidence that Von Miller is going to chase that play down inside.
Now the Texas A&M offense goes back to work from their own 22-yard line. Tannehill gets rid of it quickly to Swope, and he gains 3. Getting back to that challenge for a second by Les Miles. He called the timeout, winds up losing the challenge, his only challenge. Are you surprised that he challenged that? Because it would have been 1st and goal from the 1.
Yeah, I don't know what the gain is going to be, and the risk is too great. They only have 1 challenge during the course of the game, and you get to a situation late with a key play, and you don't have that challenge anymore.
On 2nd and 7, catch is made for a 1st down by Fuller.
Part of that Mad Hatter mystique, I guess.
Yes. Jeff Fuller gains 15. So the Aggies move the chains, trailing by 4.
I think he is playing very well against Patrick Peterson tonight. He is running some really good routes.
Terrific matchup between a pair of juniors who may be playing on Sundays next season. Here's Fuller again. Picks up another Texas A&M 1st down.
And let's not forget the other part of the equation. Ryan Tannehill is putting the ball in a great location. These are back shoulder throws down the field. This is great timing and great positioning of the ball by Ryan Tannehill and Jeff Fuller.
Here's Cyrus Gray. Takes it inside the 40 down to the 39 for a gain of 2. Injury on the LSU side. Morris Claiborne with an ankle injury. And he's been replaced by Farrell Simon. Les Miles very high on Simon, who's a true freshman, number 26. With Simon playing the left corner, top of your screen. 2nd down and 8, inside handoff, and Cyrus Gray has another. Aggies 1st down to the LSU 27.
He's got such a good feel as a between the tackle runner, and you can see the patience that his coaches talked about, how much better he's gotten during the course of the season, allowing the blocks to develop and then exploding past them.
Gray with 64 yards on 9 carries. From the LSU 27, the slant is caught for another 1st down. It's Brandel Jackson, the sophomore, only his 7th reception of the season, and he gains 13. LeVar Edwards Starting defensive end is the injured LSU Tiger.
Some key players going down early in this game. We've already lost Michael Hodges. We'll have to see how Morris Claiborne is doing. And now we've got LeVar Edwards down on the field.
The AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic on Fox is sponsored by Cadillac, the new standard of the world.
Welcome back inside Cowboy Stadium, where the Aggies have played twice. Losses to Arkansas last season and again this season. LSU will open the regular season here next September against Oregon. The toss to Gray, looking to throw. He does. End zone. Touchdown. Wachaku.
Before the game, someone was to tell me that there's going to be a team that returns the opening kickoff almost 70 yards to start the game, and then later in the second quarter they're going to throw a halfback pass. I would have guessed LSU. A&M with a great play call, great execution.
Wow. Cyrus Gray with the touchdown pass for Uzomo Wachaku. It's his second trip to the end zone today.
Well, when you got 41 days off and 43 days off for your two teams, you expect some good football. Look at that tonight. The most impressive thing for me is penalties. Just one penalty between the two teams up until this point. Hats off to both coaching staffs. This has been fun to watch up until this point. Patrick Peterson still waiting for his turn to make a big play in this game.
Bullets kick off into the end zone, taken out by Peterson. Peterson across the 30 and tackled at the 33-yard line by Lionel Smith.
Let's go back and take a look at that touchdown. A little role reversal. Cyrus Gray, an old option quarterback from high school. Look at him stand in the face of Tyrann Mathieu and deliver the shot down the field for the touchdown. And Ryan Tannehill. I'm going to pitch it out here. I'm going to seal the backside. Barkevius Mingo, a defensive end. Look at Ryan Tannehill getting in there mixing it up.
Dustin Harris is the injured Aggie. Sophomore from Livingston, Texas, backup cornerback. Midway through the second quarter here in Arlington, with the Aggies leading by 3. Jordan Jefferson remains in at quarterback, his 4th series tonight. Off the delay, this is Michael Ford. And Ford is knocked out of bounds by Frederick at the 40-yard line, gain of 7.
Well, a lot being asked of Kyle Mangan right now. He's the linebacker that's in place of Michael Hodges on the inside. And we talked about the game plan, what LSU wants to do. They want to run right down the middle. He's got to be real careful with his run fits. He got caught inside a little bit on that one.
On 2nd and 4, Jefferson fires downfield. Ruben Randall was wide open, but Jefferson overthrew him. 3rd and 4 upcoming for the Tigers.
Opportunity for a big play right here. This is just going to be a vertical route right down the seam. Trent Hunter turns his back, goes to the other direction. Jordan Jefferson missed one on that one. A chance for a big play. Another thing that this pace of play at the line of scrimmage does, it gives the quarterback so much time to adjust. Really puts a big burden on that defense, not to show too early what they want to do.
Third down and 4. Spencer Ware picks up a first down and more. Ware takes it all the way to the Aggies' 35-yard line. The true freshman gains 27.
Again, right up the middle, the area that LSU wants to attack. Stay away from those edges. Don't let Von Miller and Sean Porter be effective.
Spencer Ware, 3 carries, 62 yards, averaging over 20 yards a carry tonight. From the Texas A&M 45, this is Michael Ford. And Ford gains 2 to the 33. Lucas Patterson made the tackle.
He's putting up Dickie Magle numbers.
Yeah.
Up over 20 yards a carry. That's impressive right there for LSU. This A&M defense, I talked about how much improved they are from last year. One of the big things is their pursuit to the ball. When you have 158 yards rushing and big rushing plays, that means you are getting people out of the way. You are not allowing the pursuit to be a factor.
Second down and 8. Jefferson complete to Tolliver for an LSU first down inside the 20. Tackled at the 19-yard line. Tolliver, who scored a touchdown earlier, gains 14 yards.
Another good job by Jordan Jefferson, standing right in the pocket. He's got an unblocked man. Kyle Mangan is coming right up the middle, unblocked on a blitz, stands tall in the pocket, delivers a nice ball down the field. But he is really, really playing well tonight.
Jefferson is thrown to 75 yards and a touchdown. He's gained 41 on the ground. And right one into the end zone. He's settled down for LSU. Ridley. Stephen Ridley to the 17. How excited was Stephen Ridley to play in this game?
It was so exciting just for us to sit there and see the passion for the game, knowing that the opportunity was almost taken away. The administration, everybody at LSU standing behind him, having the belief and the faith in him. Great job by the NCAA taking a situation that could have been wrong and making it right.
Second down and 8. Here's Ridley. Ridley inside the 10, the 5, touchdown, Stephen Ridley.
To be a good running back, you've got to have vision. And it looked like Stephen Ridley actually saw Coriel Judy out of the corner of his eye. I mean, he's coming from his far outside right, and it's like he sensed him the whole time. Made a great cut to the outside and left Coriel Judy almost in the turf.
Stephen Ridley told us this week it was a relief when he learned that his eligibility was restored on Monday. He said, "I'm excited, I'm motivated." And he has put the LSU Tigers back on top. His 15th touchdown of the season.
The AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic on Fox is sponsored by AT&T. Rethink Possible. By the Miller Lite Vortex bottle. Taste greatness. And by Visa. More people go with Visa.
A look from our AT&T Sky View here at Cowboy Stadium in Arlington, Texas, where the LSU Tigers have scored touchdowns on their last 3 possessions and now lead the Texas A&M Aggies 21-17.
But the one thing that this team has learned this year is how to respond to adversity. It was something in the past. Once things slid the other way, it was tough for Texas A&M to regain their composure. That has not been a factor this year.
Coriel Judy on the return. And Judy is finally forced out of bounds just shy of the 30-yard line. As Ryan Tannehill leads the Aggies offense back out. Just to clean up that challenge situation from earlier, it was initially ruled that Les Miles challenged the play, which took Ridley down inside the 1-yard line. During the last break, the officials got together, spoke with the replay booth. Mike Pereira was initially told that it was an LSU challenge and that Les Miles lost his timeout, but That has been switched back. The replay booth now tell Mike that they did buzz down first prior to the challenge from Les Miles. So LSU with all 3 of their timeouts, and Les Miles still has his challenge.
Just a new rule with the dual possession. You know, dual possession in the game goes to the offense, tie goes to the runner in baseball. So simultaneous buzz challenge goes to the replay booth.
Tie goes to the replay booth. Tannehill on the keeper after the fake to Gray. And Tannehill takes it out to the 34-yard line. LeVar Edwards back in the game, makes the tackle. He was injured earlier. We saw Morris Claiborne head off just a moment ago. Farrell Simon remains in the game at left cornerback for LSU.
And a young secondary for LSU got younger with Farrell Simon coming in, who is a true freshman.
Eric Reed, the strong safety, number 1, a true freshman as well. As Simon picks off Tannehill. We were just talking about Farrell Simon, who was in for the injured Claiborne. Simon rolled down at the 40-yard line. So the true freshman with his first career interception.
Breakdown in communication between quarterback and wide receiver. Wide receiver runs a hitch. Ryan Tannehill throws the go. Uzoma Wachiku, you see right there, he turns. He's expecting the short route. That's an easy interception for Farrell Simon.
And for Ryan Tannehill, first interception, his last 127 pass attempts.
Well, this A&M defense has got to make a stand right now. You can't let Jordan Jefferson get back down the field for points.
Aggies without one of their leaders on the defensive side, Michael Hodges. Jefferson's pass is high, intended for Terrence Tolliver.
Pass intended for Tolliver, incomplete. Second down, Tigers.
Tigers have scored touchdowns on their last 3 possessions. Tannehill kicked off by Farrell Simon, in for the injured Morris Claiborne. Giving LSU an opportunity with 4 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Tigers leading by 4. On second and 10, this is Ridley. Sean Porter and Stephen Campbell on a tackle gain of 2.
We talk a lot about Von Miller, but Sean Porter is the other outside linebacker in this 3-4 defense for Texas A&M. And just watching the assignments that he draws, we all know that Von Miller can get to the quarterback and rush. But if you watch Sean Porter and the assignments that he is asked to do, he's splitting out in coverage against wide receivers. He's very, very athletic for an outside linebacker in the 3-4.
Third down and 8. Tigers 3 for 5 on third down today. LSU must get to midfield. Jefferson fires. And Russell Shepard down inside the 40-yard line, unable to make the catch. So the Tigers, for the first time today, go 3 and out as Jefferson checks it out on the big screen.
And he can't be happy with that one. That was not a good series for Jordan Jefferson. For the first time this evening, he has been on a roll, been very efficient, been in a really good rhythm. But that's a heck of a stand by Texas A&M's defense right there after that turnover with the interception by Ryan Tannehill.
Helton out to punt, throwing the second time, but he was run into. Roughing the kicker was called first time he punted, so the drive continued. Terrific kick. However, it does bounce into the end zone as we check in downstairs with John Lynch. John.
Well, Kenny and Darryl, a lot has been made in the last couple of days, in particular after Jim Harbaugh, the Stanford coach, took the 49ers job today, that Les Miles might indeed be the #1 candidate at Michigan. We asked Coach Miles if that was the case. He was emphatic that #1, he has not been contacted. #2, he said, I'm having so much fun here. Why would I leave? Now, fellas, I think he's got more to worry about with Texas A&M than that right now, but we'll see where that goes as it develops.
Yeah, I think for all coaches, I think they must get very, very frustrated with the speculation that happens once an opening that you have a connection back to occurs at every level. And I agree. You know, when we asked Lestat, he was emphatic about staying at LSU. He loves these kids. He's got a young team that's going to be even better and have a better chance to compete for a BCS championship next year than they did this year, even though they sit at 10-2 coming into this game.
First and 10 from the 20 for the Aggies as Tannehill's pass is caught by Wachiku. Of course, Les Miles played for Bo Schembechler at Michigan. He was an offensive lineman. 1974-75, and then he went back as a coach over Schembechler. He said Bo was as influential to him as his own father.
And he made the point that, you know, when Michigan went with Bo Schembechler, it was a young coach coming out of the MAC. You know, he said it's offensive that they would even think that he could be a candidate at this time. And there's LeVar Edwards down again. I tell you right now, that looks like some cramping right now. It looks as though his hamstring is cramping real bad. I wonder if that is one of the impacts trying to keep pace with this Texas A&M offense. You don't get a chance to rest those big guys up front. The push to get to the quarterback, the pursuit down the field. I'm having a tough time keeping up with this A&M offense.
Wow.
But the big thing that Les said, the one thing that struck me is when people speculate about you being one of the candidates, you're kind of usurping the job description of the person who's supposed to be doing the hiring. And, you know, he said, you know, I may not even be on their radar. I may not even be somebody that the people are thinking about bringing into Michigan this time.
Speculation will continue until the University of Michigan does in fact hire a head coach. The athletic director, Dave Brandon, was a teammate of Les Miles at Michigan. LeVar Edwards off to the LSU sidelines. Well, are you hungry for laughs? Then don't miss the grand opening of Bob's Burgers, a delicious new addition to Sunday's animation domination. Entertainment Weekly raves a comedy this well done is very rare indeed. Bob's Burgers series premiere Sunday after an all-new Simpsons on Fox. Time on first down. It is picked off by Eric Reed. And Reed is tackled by Tannehill. So he goes 127 pass attempts without throwing a pick. And now he throws two in the matter of minutes.
The first one was a breakdown in communication. This one was just a bad decision. Eric Reed does a great job of staying in a position where he's going to be able to make a great jump on the ball. This is coming right into the middle of the field. It looked like Eric Reed baited Ryan Tannehill into that throw. Ryan Swope coming across middle, not a poorly thrown ball way behind. It just looks like he was stride for stride with him, got lost behind those big linemen up front, never saw him. See if this Aggie defense can come out and put another stop down.
First and goal from the 2. The toss to Ridley, and Von Miller breaks through to make the tackle.
Well, you know he's coming. You ran a play earlier to take advantage of him coming right down the line of scrimmage when you booted out around him. Von Miller makes a living in the backfield of the opposition's offense.
Under 2 minutes remaining, second quarter. LSU looking to capitalize on the second interception thrown by Tannehill on a consecutive series. Second and goal. Jefferson. And this time he's cut down by Porter, who lost his helmet, but still managed to make the tackle.
Well, you can see why LSU wanted to avoid the edges. Back-to-back plays by the outside linebackers on this Texas A&M defense. First Von Miller, now it's number 10, Sean Porter, who was caught inside for a second. Great speed to get to that corner and stop that option run. How big is this play?
LSU shuffling in personnel.
A&M trying to match.
Play clock at 5. And the Tigers will use a timeout.
Smart call. This is a critical snap right now. You've got an opportunity for 7 points on a great turnover generated by your defense. You do not want to settle for a field goal. It'll give Texas A&M momentum at this point if it's 24-17. I like the timeout by Les Miles in that situation. There was some confusion with personnel or play selection. Make sure you've got it right.
So Miles chatting with Jordan Jefferson, who has gone the distance in his first half. He has not rotated with Jared Lee. LSU with a 21-17 lead. Texas A&M committing turnovers on their last 2 possessions. Tannehill has thrown 2 picks. Only his 4th and 5th of the season.
LSU comes out with a passing formation and personnel. Richard Murphy in at running back. Stephen Ridley, nothing but great things to say about him as a 3rd down back in pass protection and a route runner.
3rd and goal for LSU from the 3. Jefferson to the end zone. Taliber, touchdown.
How much confidence does Gary Crowton have in his quarterback right now? You spread to the field, 3 wide receivers, and you throw into the boundary one-on-one on a fade. That is having a tremendous amount of confidence in your quarterback right now.
Tolliver's 2nd touchdown reception today. Jasper has the extra point. LSU takes advantage following the 2nd Tannehill pick. Tigers have now scored touchdowns on 4 of their last 5 possessions.
Pre-snap, you are thinking that LSU has to go out to the field to the wide side. They've got 3 receivers out that way. They've got their back and their other receiver to the backside one-on-one, but they don't go that way. So that shows that they have a tremendous amount of confidence with Jordan Jefferson right now.
So LSU has put up 28 first half points against the wrecking crew defense that has allowed only 20 points per game this season.
It's been impressive. Jordan Jefferson has gotten onto a roll right now, and I really think that that last play just a culmination of the confidence that offensive coordinator Gary Crowton has in his quarterback. Number 1, when the opportunity for Jarrett Lee to get his series came up, they stayed with Jordan Jefferson, and then that play right there, it's just a simple one-on-one fade to the back corner.
Jordan Jefferson, 2 touchdown passes and a touchdown run. Here's Coriel Judy, who made 2 big plays early, which led to the first 10 points, but he loses the football here. And it is recovered by his teammate, Kenny Brown.
We'll go back and take a look and just show you how, from a pre-snap situation, what you have to think as a defender. Here's your one-on-one backside. You've got everybody else out here to the field. You're on the far hash. This is a boundary play. I mean, look at everybody from A&M running out to the wide side. It even makes the isolation even bigger on that backside. Jordan Jefferson's play in the first half has done nothing but just increase the confidence that they have that he can make throws, command this offense, run it efficiently. He's having a great evening.
And on the other side, Ryan Tannehill, who has not made many mistakes since taking over a quarterback this season, has thrown picks on the last 2 possessions. Here is Ryan Swope. Hard to bring him down. It's Eric Reed, who made the 2nd LSU pick, who finally makes the tackle. Swope gains 21.
Well, sitting down and talking to Ryan Tannehill, he's one of those guys that you know he's going to bounce back. And he's made a couple of bad throws, had a breakdown in communication, a poor decision. But just his personality, just from talking to him, you know he's going to bounce back.
From the 40, Tannehill's pass is short, intended for Fuller. Patrick Peterson on the coverage.
They are having some issues on the outside. You can see Ryan Tannehill right there coming downfield, trying to talk to Jeff Fuller. I mean, in the beginning of the game, they were completely in sync, making great throws, great adjustments.
Coming up, Darrell, our Visa halftime report with Chris, Charles, and John. First half analysis, and 2 legends will get together, Pat Summerall and Jim Brown. It's coming up on the Visa halftime report. 2nd down and 10. Tannehill to the outside, and a nice tackle made by Simon on Brandel Jackson. Under 1 minute remaining in the half.
Oh, we've talked about Cyrus Gray and what he's doing running the football, but he just stepped up and blocked Drake Nevis, the defensive tackle. Stopped him in his tracks, gave Ryan Tannehill enough time to throw the ball. There's a complete back for you.
Aggies with 3 timeouts down to 40 seconds. Tannehill's pass off the hands of Jackson this time. So the clock stops with 34 seconds remaining.
Just been a little bit out of sync on these last couple of series offensively. Very, very good through the first part of this first half. Ryan Tannehill with his ball location, the receivers being in the right spot. But these last couple of series, things just not clicking for this A&M offense.
Tigers will get the ball back. Ken Wood punting from his own 36-yard line. Peterson lets it bounce. And it's down at the 19-yard line. What a first half it has been for the junior quarterback for the LSU Tigers, Jordan Jefferson.
Well, statistically, he's going to have some great numbers in the half, but I've been more impressed with what he's done as a leader, how he's handled everything. You see what he's done tonight. It's been a very, very nice evening for Jordan Jefferson. But I've just really been impressed with his command of the offense.
First down.
Jefferson starting his 3rd bowl game. He was the offensive MVP of the Chick-fil-A Bowl 2 years ago against Georgia Tech. Started the Capital One Bowl against Penn State last New Year's Day.
And I think all season long it's been about confidence for him. I think in the beginning of the year LSU was playing to their strength, which was their defense and their special teams. Very conservative offensively, not wanting to turn the ball over and put the opposition on a short field. And I think that affected Jordan Jefferson and also Jarrett Lee. When they came in, it was a very conservative game plan. And that second half of the Alabama game, I think, Gary Crowton finally said, you know what? We just got to start playing. We got to start looking for matchups. We got to start throwing the ball down the field. We've got to have confidence in these quarterbacks.
Texas A&M is challenging the ruling on the play that the ball was touched by LSU, not an A&M player.
So the question is, did that punt touch one of the LSU Tigers?
It sure looked like it hit an Aggie when it came down.
And Mike Sherman challenging the play.
Yeah. And Tyrann Mathieu is right there, but it sure does look like it goes off of Kyle Mangan first, number 18,
yes,
and then kicks back to Stephen Campbell, number 2.
Hit the right foot of Mangan, sophomore linebacker. So Mike Sherman electing to use his challenge here. One that he will not win. And we're told the replay booth has confirmed.
Review. Ruling on the field is confirmed. The ball was touched first by an A&M player. As a result, A&M is charged with a timeout, and they've lost their challenge.
So Mike Sherman electing to use his challenge. He loses the timeout, loses the challenge. So with 26 seconds remaining in the first half, and LSU leading 28-17. First and 10 from the 20-yard line for the Tigers. LSU with 2 timeouts remaining. And they keep it on the ground with Ridley, and he's hit for a loss of 1 by Dustin Harris, who has returned, injured his shoulder earlier. He's a halftime report is coming up. Texas A&M took a 10-0 lead in the first quarter, but LSU came back with touchdowns on 3 consecutive possessions, and they lead at the half 28-17. The Visa halftime report is next. And you talk about the players who are playing in this game today and the numbers that they have put up, over 500 total yards in the first half.
And what seemed like a bad decision in the first half now seems to be like a very smart decision by Les Miles. They deferred. They played to the strength of their defense and special teams. Texas A&M came out, jumped out to a 10-0 lead, But now up 11, their offense is going to take the field here in the second half.
We talked about decision by Les Miles to defer, and a big return by Peterson out to the 34-yard line as we head back down to the field with Charles Davis. Charles?
All right, guys, had a chance to talk with Coach Mike Sherman coming out of the half, and he says the big concern on defense, their run fits against the running game of Stephen Ridley and LSU. The loss of Michael Hodges at inside linebacker really hurts them. They've got to shore that up. The second part, he's not overly concerned. He says, we've been here before. We've been a second half team all year long. We expect that to continue tonight.
And I think that that's a change, Kenny. We've talked about changes with Texas A&M, and I think that that may be one of the big ones. We've talked about the play of their defense, but one of the things that you have to be as a football team is a group that can respond to adversity, and in the past they hadn't done a good job of that. They have this year. So to be down 11 at halftime, I agree with Coach Sherman, it's not a big deal. They were down 16 in the first half to Baylor. They were down 14 in the fourth quarter to Oklahoma State University. Really the game that a lot of these guys said gave them the confidence that they were going to have a good season, even though they ended up losing that game.
You saw Kenny Brown, the injured Aggie, helped off the field. Jordan Jefferson, terrific first half. Jefferson and the Tigers start from their own 33-yard line. This is Stephen Ridley, who gains 2 out to the 35. As Chris Rose mentioned during the Visa halftime report, the 45 combined points in the first half, tying the Cotton Bowl Classic record. Ole Miss and Texas Tech in 2009. Boston College with Doug Flutie and Houston back in 1985 combined for 45 first-half points as well.
And how surprising is that? I really thought that we were going to see a 21-17, 17-14 style game. I thought that both of these defenses were going to be the groups that asserted their power, and it's been the offenses that have played well this evening.
Second down and 9. Jefferson out of the shotgun. 4 receivers set. Jefferson in trouble. Von Miller takes him down back at the 24-yard line.
Well, they did their job in the first half. Jordan Jefferson told us the one thing we can't allow to happen is to let Von Miller get on a roll. He makes a play early here in the second half. Just a great upfield move back underneath. You can see the quickness that you have to deal with Von Miller coming off the edge.
The Butkus Award winner, top linebacker in all of college football, most sacks over the last 2 seasons, 17 last year. So it forces the Tigers back into a 3rd down and 19. They must get to the 43 for a first. Jefferson steps up, using his legs once again, and he has a first down. Jordan Jefferson takes it into Texas A&M territory as he runs for 33 yards.
This is just a great job by Josh Durosic, the left guard. Watch him. He's going to pick up the blitzer coming off of this edge. That is a tough assignment because he's got a guy over his face, twist, bounce back out. That was a great job because that was the pressure that was coming. If there was a gap seamed onto the other side, Jordan Jefferson has nowhere to go. Great job by the left guard getting 2 guys blocked.
Jefferson with 64 yards on the ground. Jefferson, Ridley, and Spencer Ware have all rushed for at least 60 today. Here's Jefferson on the option. This is Richard Murphy, and he's tackled by Jonathan Stewart after a gain of 3.
And when we talked about LSU at the top as a running team, this is what they want to do. And I asked Gary Croton, the offensive coordinator of LSU, about establishing an identity. And he said, no, we have one. We're a running team. We're a downhill running team. And it's not just Stephen Ridley. It is Spencer Ware. And then it's Russell Shepard on the speed sweeps to the outside. There's so many things that they throw at you in this running game that you have to be aware of. They're always putting stress on that defense.
LSU with over 200 yards on the ground today. We are early 3rd quarter. Jefferson going deep for Tolliver. He's got it. Touchdown. His 3rd of the game. Jordan Jefferson with his 3rd touchdown pass today. All 3 into the hands of Terrence Tolliver, who had only 2 touchdowns all season coming into this game. Jasper the extra point. And the Tigers now lead the Aggies 35-17. Terrence Tolliver returning to his home state, senior from Hempstead, Texas, with 3 touchdown receptions today.
And it's a combination of the effectiveness of LSU's running game, and you're committing to try and stop that run, and all of a sudden you're catching one-on-one coverage, almost identical to his big catch earlier in the first half, that post route down the middle of the field, getting behind the secondary of Texas A&M.
The LSU Tigers with touchdowns on 5 of their last 6 possessions. Now lead by 18.
We talked about it at the top, Kenny. When Jordan Jefferson is playing well, LSU can hang with anybody in the country.
Jasper kicks it off. Coriel Judy waiting. Takes it at the 5. Oh, big hit. As Judy crossed the 20. Once again, it's Tyrann Mathieu. Well, with his 3rd touchdown reception, Terrence Tolliver ties a Cotton Bowl record. Keyshawn Johnson back in the '95 Cotton Bowl, USC against Texas Tech, a 55-14 win for the Trojans. Keyshawn Johnson with 222 receiving yards, a then Cotton Bowl record. He was the only player in the 74-year history of this classic coming into the game today with 3 receiving touchdowns. Here's Tannehill on the keeper, and he is upended at the 21-yard line by Craig. Lost it as we head downstairs to John.
Well, thanks, Kenny. And Daryl, you called it just like Les Miles saw it in the first half. I spoke to Les Miles. He said, we're running the football well. It's going to open up the deep ball. If Jordan just hits it, we're going to have success.
And success 3 times today from Jefferson to Tolliver. Tannehill on 2nd and 8. Here's Fuller. Peterson to tackle a yard shy of the marker.
And I know that they're playing this up-tempo style, but they cannot get away from Cyrus Gray. And that's one of the areas that was missing when A&M got into that lull at the end of the first half. And they are playing this hurry-up style, this up-tempo, but they got away from Cyrus Gray. You've got to get him back into the game. Here we go right here. But you're down 18 right now. You can't let this get too far away, because in the second half, you can become one-dimensional. You can be forced into a certain style of offense where your entire playbook is not open.
74 yards on the ground for Gray. Texas A&M led this game back in the first quarter, 10-0. But the LSU Tigers have come back with touchdowns on 5 of their last 6 possessions. New set of downs for Ryan Tannehill and the Aggies. And a terrific defensive play is made by Mathieu. No flags. He's been a spark on special teams for LSU tonight, and now he breaks up the pass intended for Wachuku.
Another true freshman in the secondary for LSU. And, yeah, he got away with one right there. He came through the back of Uzoma Wachuku. But this secondary is young, but they are aggressive, and they are very talented for the LSU Tigers.
2nd and 10 from the 36-yard line. Here's Gray running right. And he's taken down by Ron Brooks, a junior from Irving, Texas, the former home of the Cowboys.
Well, Cyrus Gray, you look at what he's done over the last 6 games. Texas, 223 yards on Thanksgiving night. So he's coming into this game really on a roll, and they're getting away from it. And I don't know if you want to run to the perimeter against LSU. I'd rather them attack them through the tackles like they did early in the first half.
Tannehill to the outside, and the nice catch is made by Fuller out at the 49-yard line. Gain of 13, Fuller's 6th reception today.
That's a nice catch, but that is a big-time throw by Ryan Tannehill from that spot on the field to where Jeff Fuller was on the outside.
On first down, it's Gray. Takes it into Tigers territory. Good second effort, and then he's tackled by the combination of Brooks and Reed. Texas A&M looking to get back into this game. They led 10-0 early. The decision by Les Miles to defer at the start of the game did not pay dividends immediately as the Aggies return the opening kickoff 69 yards, but LSU received to start the second half, and they score on the opening drive to extend their lead. Here's Gray. Cyrus Gray looking for that 7th consecutive 100-yard game.
He just seems to be one of those backs that the more you get him the ball, the better he does. He continues to build off that. Michael Bracker's down for the LSU Tigers, one of their defensive tackles inside.
Bracker's a redshirt freshman out of Houston. We'll take a break. Early 3rd quarter. LSU by 18.
The AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic on Fox is sponsored by Nissan. Innovation for today, innovation for tomorrow, innovation for all.
Cowboy Stadium, the largest domed structure in the world. The AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic being played here for the 2nd consecutive year. The next sporting event to take place at Cowboy Stadium, Super Bowl 45, 30 days from now, right here on Fox. Toss to Cyrus Gray, and he's knocked out of bounds by Kelvin Shepard. Congratulations to your former teammate with the Cowboys, Jason Garrett, yesterday officially named the new head coach. He was the interim head coach after the dismissal of Wade Phillips. Cowboys went 5-3, and Jason Garrett named the 8th head coach in the history of the Dallas Cowboys yesterday.
And it's just amazing what he was able to accomplish during the course of the season. He talked about changing the culture, which is such a difficult thing to do, even in an offseason when you come in as a new head coach. But to do it within season, amazing.
Tannehill with the shovel pass, and Gray has a first down inside the 30.
I tell you, it looked like that was going to be a lot bigger than it ended up being for Cyrus Gray. I don't know if he's trying to get a breather to get off to the side, and maybe that's why it wasn't a bigger play. Maybe he had some tired legs on that play right there, but Ryan Tannehill did a great job of inviting all the defensive linemen in and then flipped that forward.
First set of downs. This is Stevens, Bradley Stevens, down to the 24-yard line. Gain of 5. So the Aggies on the move. They led 10-0, and then late in the first quarter, up 10-7. They attempted that 52-yard field goal, hit the right upright, would have given them a 13-7 lead, but since then it has been all LSU as Swope dives down to the 23.
And one of the things that that Ryan Tannehill was worried about, he said one thing we can't do is come out and have, short drives, 3 and outs or things like that where we're not able to take advantage of our up-tempo offense.
3rd down and 4 for Mike Sherman's Aggies. They must get to the 19 for a first down. Tannehill in trouble. Down he goes. Ryan Baker. Tied for the team lead in sacks this season with 6. Has his 7th back at the 32-yard line.
I think we had a missed assignment by Bradley Stevens in the backfield. Your running back right here. You're going to have the blitz come right in between the guard center area. He's got to slide over and get that picked up. He starts to run his route first. Can't get back. As a running back, if you're going to err on the side of the blitz pickup. You can always get out late. You can always be a late outlet for your quarterback. But if you get yourself out of position by thinking you should be going to the route and there is a blitz on and your man is coming, you are never going to be able to get back and get him picked up.
There it is. So now with a 4th down and 13 looming. Play clock runs all the way down, and the Aggies take a delay of game penalty. And they send out Tannehill to try and pooch it. Peterson drops back. Good hang time. Had a fair catch called for by Peterson back at the 13. A look from our AT&T Skyview. The 50th all-time meeting between LSU and Texas A&M, first since 1995. Their initial meeting, Darrell, came during the William McKinley administration back in 1899. A game won by Texas A&M 52-0. Here's Spencer Ware. That game was halted with 8 minutes left, and the Aggies leading by 52 in College Station. And The LSU players were then invited to a dance later that night on campus.
That's nice hospitality, Southern hospitality right there. Well, it's time for defensive coordinator Tim DeRuyter's defense to show them that the lesson that they learned today, this season, can work this evening. And that's the confidence that they can be a difference maker in a game. Right now, they've got to make a play. Their offense is struggling a little bit. They need something big.
Jefferson with loads of time on 2nd and 5. Complete to Spencer Ware. He's tackled by Stephen Campbell right around our yellow first down line.
Go back to earlier in the season against Louisiana Tech. They played on a short field all night long and were able to hold in there against Oklahoma. They had 3 goal line stands. So, you know, during the course of the year, they've learned that what has happened in the past is in the past, that this group can actually be a big part of winning a football game, and they've got to make a play right now. Von Miller, Sean Porter, one of these guys needs to step up.
You dizzy from looking at those numbers from tonight's game? 52 points, over 600 yards of combined offense. Ridley takes it out to the 29, and as you saw on the bottom, only 2 penalties in this game.
That's the great thing. It's been played so well, and you love a game like this. I mean, you love the offense, even if this was a great defensive battle, but it's played clean and well played when you talk about low penalties and low turnovers.
Les Miles back in Dallas, assistant coach with the Cowboys, the tight ends coach from 1998 through 2000. Second down and 5, it's Ridley. And Stephen Ridley picks up a first down, running hard. Von Miller made the tackle, but not before Ridley gained 8, and the Tigers moved the chains.
I just think right now we're seeing what has happened to this defense with Michael Hodges out of it. And when you have a defensive coordinator that talks about your inside linebacker being the glue of this team, Von Miller is the big playmaker and the Butkus Award winner, but you have to have a guy like Michael Hodges in your front. And since he's left the game, it's had such an impact. The emotional part of a player you can't replace. You can replace his physical skills, but you can't replace the emotion and the heart, and that's exactly what Michael Hodges is for this defense.
Run the 38. Jefferson takes off, and he gains 2 out to the 40. When you talk about Von Miller, the Butkus Award, how did he learn that he was the Butkus Award winner? Well, it was presented to him on campus by Dick Butkus. The A&M staff and coaches lowered the lights. Von told us that the staff would show the players videos of winners. Bill Russell, secretary, and all of a sudden a highlight film popped up with Dick Butkus on the screen. There were 2 seats open next to Von. Next thing he knows, Dick Butkus is sitting next to him with the trophy. Second down and 8. Michael Ford bottled up. He said he knocked his elbow off the armrest. He was happy with the empty seat next to him. All of a sudden, he felt an arm rubbing against his, and it was Dick Butkus.
Yeah, you don't want to knock that arm off.
No.
You take a look over, and you're like, oh, I just made a mistake.
3rd down and 7, and a diving catch. A tremendous catch is made by Spencer Ware. 12 yards, and another Tigers first down.
Now, how nice is it to see Spencer Ware have a good game this evening, because he was the guy that was going to get a lot of the reps with Stephen Ridley if that suspension had have come through. But as a great teammate, you know, you applaud and you celebrate the fact that your teammate's going to be there with you, and then you go out and you have a great game on your own.
What's the first thing Spencer Ware told Stephen Ridley on Monday? I'm so excited about your back. The unselfish nature of these backs, and here's Ware once again. Ridley's happy that Spencer Ware is in there as well. Takes it to the 29, a gain of 18.
Even with the design to press the perimeter of the defense, these are going to cut back into these areas right here. And it's right to that spot where Michael Hodges would be. It's the inside. It was an area that LSU was going to exploit coming into the game, and that injury, I think, has really, really hurt this defense.
Ninth play of the drive from the Texas A&M 29.
Jordan Jefferson is in complete command of this offense right now.
Running the option, hangs on to the football, and gains a yard. Kyle Mangan made the tackle. He's in for the injured Michael Hodges.
This LSU offense, I mean, what they put on you as a stress, as a defense, you've got to defend the power game. You've got to defend a spread-type offense with 4 wide receivers and empty backfields. You've got to defend option. You've got to defend zone reads inside. It's amazing the stress that they can put on the defense. And right now, Jordan Jefferson is executing all those different facets of this offense very, very well.
Second down and 9 off the play fake. Jefferson steps up and is tripped up by Lucas Patterson. No gain.
That would be the only thing that I have seen him do tonight that isn't at a very, very high level, and that's his decision making. He has been indecisive at times. He's a great runner with the football. In a situation like that, just pull it down and take off. You can make big yards with your legs.
Jefferson told us it has been an interesting year. Jarrett Lee has come in 10 of the prior 12 games for either a series or multiple series. But Jefferson has gone the distance today. They've pushed each other all year. They remain positive with one another. Lee has started 9 games during his Tigers career. And this is Spencer Ware. He takes it down to the 22-yard line. And what has Jefferson done today? Well, he threw 4 touchdown passes all season long. He has 3 today, all to Tolliver, and he's also gained 67 yards on the ground.
And really, still, in my opinion, it's the intangibles that he's doing with this offense this evening. It was just, it's been very, very impressive. There, you know, it comes up short of the first down. But again, he's at the line of scrimmage. He's getting the play. He runs option away from the blitz.
On 4th and 2, here is Josh Jasper. Leads the nation with 26 field goals, also tied for the school record with Colt David. This will be a 39-yard attempt from the left hash, but first the penalty marker is thrown.
A little bit longer now, Kenny.
False start. 74 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
That is the first LSU penalty today, Josh Williford. So this will force Jasper and the Tigers back 5 yards. Jasper from 44 yards out. Time winding down in this 3rd quarter. Jasper's kick is up and it is no good. Wide to the right. 3rd quarter comes to an end with the missed field goal. But the LSU Tigers extend their lead. There's number 80, Terrence Tolliver, scored the only touchdown of this 3rd quarter.
LSU leads Texas A&M 35-17 as we start the 4th quarter of the 75th AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic. And right now I'm joined by John Stanky, the CEO and president of AT&T Operations. And John, what a great 15-year partnership you guys have had with the Cotton Bowl.
It's been a fabulous partnership. You know, this is a class organization. They do a great job. We're delighted to be associated with the Cotton Bowl.
Well, John, we appreciate everything you guys have done this week, but they're about ready to start the 4th quarter. So, Kenny Albert, let's send it back upstairs to you.
Thanks very much, Chris. And what a week it has been for us here in the Dallas area. We would like to thank the Cotton Bowl president, Rick Baker, the chairman, Tommy Bain, Finn Ewing, Charlie Fiss, and their entire staff for the hospitality this entire week.
It's absolutely amazing. Everybody, the volunteers, everybody that's a part of the hospitality group here at the Cotton Bowl, you've never had the opportunity to experience what they do. It's nothing short of amazing.
First play of the 4th quarter, Cyrus Gray takes it out to the 33-yard line for a gain of 6. Things started very well for the Texas A&M Aggies after LSU deferred at the start of this game. Coriel Judy returned the opening kickoff 69 yards, leading to a Texas A&M touchdown. They kicked a field goal on their next drive to take a 10-0 lead. But it has been all LSU since then. It's Tannehill picks up the first down out to the 49-yard line. Gain of 16.
Some of those wide receiver skills coming into play. A little bit of wiggle out in space. Good job by Ryan Swope with a block downfield. Senior quarterback coming, getting the kick out block.
From the 49-yard line. Complete to Fuller. For another Aggies first down. Fuller with his 7th reception. You know, we talked about Tannehill's athletic skills. Terrific wide receiver the last 2 years. 5-0 as the starting quarterback. We have not touched on what he has done in the classroom. A 3.6 GPA in biology. Plans to attend medical school. Hopes to become an orthopedic surgeon. Gray unable to hang on. Second and 10 coming up for the Aggies. Look at our AT&T first down line at the 30. Tannehill with the toss to Gray on 2nd and 10. Wants to turn the corner, but he could not. Forced out of bounds by Ron Brooks.
You know, you mentioned this guy earlier in the game, Kenny. Tyrann Mathieu is a player on special teams that's made a lot of plays. There's Ron Brooks right there. Tyrann Mathieu, number 14. Again, a true freshman, one of those young guys in the secondary. He's had a heck of a game this evening, both defensively in the secondary and also on special teams. He's got a lot more snaps tonight with Morris Colborn being there.
Both teams very young. 3rd down and 12. Tannehill fires downfield looking for Fuller. Out of bounds. Farrell Simon on the coverage. Simon, the true freshman, had a pick earlier. Both coaches at the big play luncheon yesterday asked their seniors to stand up. And not many seniors on either side.
Small groups of seniors. So these teams had great seasons this year, and they're poised to have, you know, maybe even a better season next year. You know, Texas A&M at 9-3, LSU at 10-2. Both of them could be in a position to have great years next year.
Kenwood punting, and it will be down inside the 5-yard line. Good job by Wood. LSU by 18. There's a flag. A late flag has been thrown, so we'll keep it right here. Not many flags tonight. Randy Smith, our referee. The officials from Conference USA, and we thank Mike Pereira, Gerald Austin, and Jim Blackwood, our officials up here in the broadcast booth.
Oh, they have been fantastic, because there are subtle differences between the college rule book and the NFL rule book. So they've been irreplaceable for me. I can tell you that. We've had a couple situations where it's very, very different going from Sunday afternoon to the college football game.
Mike Sherman has experienced both sides of that as well.
Having trouble with these punts bouncing into people maybe again. We had one earlier in the game that Mike Sherman challenged, thinking that it hit an LSU player. It actually hit one of his own guys. Wonder if we've got a similar one here. I don't know what the flag would be for, but they have to review it.
Gerald Austin, an NFL referee who is up in the booth with us, says they might be looking at the number of players on the field during the punt. Randy Smith did not announce what he was going to take a look at, or what they were going to look at up in the replay booth. And we are told that that is in fact what they are looking at, how many LSU players were on the field during the punt.
Well, let's see if we can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Now we got some guys coming off. They're trying that old Tennessee play again.
That's right.
So I think we've got, I don't think they got all the way off the sideline. So we had 14 on at one point with 2 coming off. I'd only get you to 12, right, Kenny?
Last time I checked. You know, LSU does shuffle players on special teams in critical situations. They'll send out some of their starters. We wonder if that could have come into play with multiple players running onto the field at some of the positions during this punt.
If they've got somebody back deep, they would be over. So yeah, with the returner back deep, that should be 12. They had a late substitution.
Jim Ina is the replay official upstairs. This is not a coach's challenge. This was initiated from the booth. Mike Sherman lost his challenge earlier.
Yep. It'll be a first down.
So Randy Smith continues to communicate with the replay booth upstairs, and for the second time tonight we welcome in Mike Pereira in our Fox Command Center right here in the broadcast booth. Mike, what is your interpretation of what is taking place?
Well, I'll tell you, without the challenge system here, you kind of wonder what they're reviewing initially, but it has to be the 12 men on the field, and there was a flag thrown. And I think they're trying to confirm that down, but it's a 15-yard penalty in college, so it would really result in a first down for the offense. So a lot at stake here, and I think that's what they're trying to ascertain. Can they get a shot that actually shows there are 12 men on the field? And I think that's likely the delay here. But
one of the situations seemed to be over on the sideline with LSU, that they were kind of straddling the sideline out. Whether, do I need to get back in? Do we have enough? So
and the thing is, in college football, it's not reviewable.
Legal participation on LSU. They had 12 players on the kicking team. It's a 15-yard penalty assessed in the previous spot will be a first down for A&M.
Yeah, and that's the issue. Of course, it's the receiving team that had the 12 people on it. But what was hard was you saw 11 guys in one shot, but you couldn't see the deep guy. And so you had to kind of piece them together. And obviously a critical penalty, because you can see it gives the kickers a first down.
And again, another one of those rules that's different from the NFL to the collegiate level.
I would be so happy if we could make the rules the same on Saturday and Sunday. It's confusing for us. It's confusing for the fans, too, that watch both games.
But you wouldn't have been here with us tonight, then.
That's right. I like the rule differences. I think the rule differences are great. You're right.
Will you be sleeping in the booth with the Super Bowl coming up February 6th? Are you going to stay here in Arlington?
I'm leaving here right now. I'm going to stay right in my seat back there.
Well, we want you to stay here for a couple more minutes, Mike, as Cyrus Gray takes you down to the 25-yard line. Mike, not only did you spend over a decade as VP of officiating in the National Football League, but
is Mike Pereira.
You were right here
from the Western
at the Cotton Bowl across town in '96.
My God, I was young then, huh? Look at that. I was young, but I must tell you, it was 46 degrees and rain and sleet. It's a heck of a lot better today, I'll tell you that.
What did Rick Neuheisel have to say to you after that call?
No, he wasn't happy with me. Never was happy with me.
The 1996 Cotton Bowl at Cotton Bowl Stadium. Referee Mike Pereira. There he is with us. 15 years later, Cyrus Gray to the 23-yard line.
They have done a much better job with their run fits here in the second half. The LSU defense has, and it looked like Cyrus Gray was going to follow up another big game tonight after those previous 6 down the home stretch for Texas A&M. But I give a lot of credit to this LSU defense. They've adjusted well since about the midway point of that second quarter.
There with 96 yards on the ground now. Tannehill from the shotgun, 3rd down and 6. Tannehill throws, the catch is made by Swope, and a tremendous tackle. We've called Ron Brooks' name on a number of occasions tonight, and he tackles Swope about 1.5 yards shy of a first down.
Again, just another nice play. Just to watch Ryan Tannehill stand in the pocket, pressure right in his face, makes a good throw. Great tackle by Ron Brooks, tight coverage, tackles him right at the spot of the catch, forces a 4th down.
4th and 1. Mike Sherman leaves his offense on the field, trailing by 18. Tannehill's pass is complete for a first down. So Texas A&M goes for it on 4th and 1. First catch today, 6th of the season for the sophomore tight end Michael Lamont.
You wonder if he got dropped in coverage out in the flat with nobody there. They brought some pressure off the edge. Looks like Michael Lamoth got dropped in coverage. Again, some substitution issues there. I wonder if that's one of our Sunday partner might have that little trick where he goes down with a hamstring to help that substitution get off the field.
You're talking about Tony Siragusa, of course.
That looks like Siragusa influence right there.
The AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic on Fox is sponsored by Visa. More people go with Visa. By AT&T, rethink possible. And by Bud Light, it's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
The 75th AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic. Azarius Leverston was the injured LSU Tiger as we went to break. First and goal from the 8-yard line for Texas A&M as Tannehill hands it off to Cyrus Gray. Gray takes it inside the 5 down to the 4-yard line. Kelvin Shepard made the tackle, and Cyrus Gray hits 100 yards on the ground for the 7th consecutive game.
And he's run strong tonight. That's a great example right there. Josh Downs, down lineman, has an opportunity to get Cyrus in the backfield, and he just kind of shrugs him off. I tell you, he's a lot stronger than I would have assumed when we met with him. He is not a big person when you meet him.
7 straight 100-yard games for Gray. Second and goal from the 4. Tannehill was in trouble. He flipped it. Shovel pass, and it's ruled incomplete, so 3rd and goal coming up. There's LeVar Edwards. He's been shaken up a couple of times today, back on the field for LSU.
Yeah, I don't know if there was miscommunication or if it was tipped, but Cyrus Gray was out to Ryan Tannehill's right, and it looked as though he flipped it towards the center.
The center is Matt Allen, who spent his first 2 years at LSU. Has a championship ring, and then transferred to Texas A&M. 3rd and goal from the 4. Tannehill, the fade, corner of the end zone, and coming down with it for the touchdown is Kenrick McNeil. Remember, he has to get only 1 foot in, and McNeil is ruled to have done just that.
I thought Tyrann Mathieu was going to be able to make a play on this, but that ball just kept floating all the way to the outside.
Oh, it was close.
He gets them both in for you, Kenny.
So Kenrick McNeil with his 2nd touchdown reception of the season after the Aggies maintained possession following that penalty on the punt. It's now a 2-possession game with LSU leading Texas A&M 35-24 following Ryan Tannehill's 2nd touchdown pass today.
Nice throw into the corner. Good touch on that. I thought he had a little bit too much arc on it, and that Tyrann Mathieu was going to be able to get underneath it, but he threw it a lot better than I thought he did. Kenrick McNeil able to make that catch, get the feet down in for a touchdown. There you go.
The onside kick by Bullock. Out of bounds, so LSU will take over at their own 48-yard line.
Well, we've seen all the trickery tonight from Texas A&M as opposed to LSU.
Does not work this time.
The AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic on Fox is sponsored by the Chevy Silverado HD, Motor Trend's 2011 Truck of the Year.
Back at Arlington, LSU with an 11-point lead, 35-24. Outstanding night for Tigers quarterback Jordan Jefferson. 3 touchdown passes, 67 yards, and a touchdown for Jefferson on the ground. Stephen Ridley into Aggies territory.
I don't think anybody realizes what LSU is going to do right here. They're just going to come right down the middle of the field towards Texas A&M. It's been their plan all evening long. Now with the game sitting at 35-24, you see the play selection there, right? 43 rushes. You better get ready to buckle up. Stephen Ridley's going to be coming downhill at you on this drive.
254 yards on the ground for LSU tonight. Second down and 5. It's Ridley again. And he's tackled back at the 49-yard line by Von Miller. A loss of a yard.
If they can get the rushing lanes inside filled up and force Stephen Ridley to bounce to the outside and allow Von Miller and Sean Porter to use their speed to track him down, that's the one thing they haven't been able to get done tonight. LSU has been able to punch holes into that interior of the LSU defense.
Tigers must get to the 42 as you check out our AT&T first down line. Third down and 8. Jefferson out of the shotgun. Jefferson over the middle, complete to Tolliver for an LSU first down. Terrence Tolliver with his 5th reception. 3 of them have been for touchdowns.
Well, they have done such a good job of neutralizing Von Miller in the passing game. You're going to see him come in right at the last second down low. Jordan Jefferson again standing in the pocket, tight coverage on Terrence Tolliver, makes a good throw.
A season high 112 receiving yards, his 5th career 100-yard game. So an important first down as LSU moves the chains and keeps the clock moving as we approach 8 minutes remaining. Nice tackle by Sean Porter to bring down Richard Murphy in front of 83,514 fans here at Cowboy Stadium. Second largest crowd in the history of the AT&T Cotton Bowl. 2 years ago, January 2nd, 2009, in the last Classic played at Cotton Bowl Stadium. Ole Miss and Texas Tech drew over 88,000, but this the second largest crowd in the 75-year history.
And they were here early. We were at about 4 hours before kickoff, and I came through the LSU Plaza, and there was a lot of Tiger fans already here at around 4 o'clock.
Fans from both Baton Rouge and College Station able to get in the car. No flights needed as Jonathan Mathis knocks down that pass. College Station, 156 miles from Arlington. Baton Rouge, 370 miles away as the defensive signals are sent in.
I don't know what that one is.
Your guess is as good as the players on the LSU offense. Third down and 10. Tigers must get to the 27. The option to Spencer Ware, who's had a terrific night. Bounces away from the first tackle and then is dropped at the 33-yard line by Dustin Harris, gain of 4.
A good job by Dustin Harris hanging on Spencer Ware again. He's been very, very physical when he's had the ball in his hands tonight. He comes in, actually delivers the blow to Dustin Harris and is about to bounce off and pull away, but Dustin Harris does a great job getting him to the ground.
4th down and 6. Les Miles taking his time. Play clock at 10. Game clock continues to run down.
He's got his 3 timeouts left. You could think long and hard on this one. It'll be an interesting decision whether to go for the field goal or punt it down and try and pin Texas A&M deep in their own end.
It would be a 52-yard attempt.
LSU is lining up for a field goal, but Josh Jasper is a pooch kicker. If I'm A&M, I would have somebody back around my 8-yard line, just in case this gets snapped right to him and he tries to pooch one down there so they can down it deep in Texas A&M territory.
They elect to attempt the field goal. It's a 51-yard attempt, and Jasper nails it. It's the longest field goal in Cotton Bowl history. Jasper connecting from 51 yards out.
The AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic is sponsored by AT&T. Rethink possible. By Progressive, making it easier to buy car insurance. And by Chevrolet and their award-winning cars, trucks, and crossovers.
Back in Arlington, Kenny Albert, Darrell Johnston, John Lynch, Charles Davis, Chris Rose, and Pat Summerall on hand to bring you this 75th AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic. LSU leading by 2 touchdowns. Here's Coriel Judy. He started the game with a bang, a 69-yard return. And what a tackle on special teams. Daniel Graff, one of your favorites now.
Absolutely. Here's a guy. He's in his 6th year and walked on at LSU. Now he leads the team in special teams tackles, but that is number 17, and 16 of the 17 have been just like that, solo tackles. He's another one of those guys. You have to have a Daniel Graff on your team.
Congratulated by Jasper.
Kickers with mohawks.
Yeah. And Jasper with that last field goal sets a school record, his 27th successful field goal. Cole David 26 back in 07. Tannehill pump fake. Takes it out to the 25 with 6 minutes remaining. We check in with John Lynch. John.
Hey, Darrell and Kenny, Daniel Graff, it's just a tremendous story. A walk-on this LSU football team in 05 with Hurricane Katrina. His house was devastated by a tree that fell on it. He had to stay home, rebuilt the house, then transferred over to LSU, was away from football for 3 years. Tremendous story, tremendous young man.
Amazing. Now played football for 3 years. And Tyrann Mathieu, you've been talking about him all day, Darrell. He comes up with the pick. The 3rd of Tannehill today.
He has had an absolutely fantastic game tonight. Defense, special teams. And this is just a great play by a corner. I mean, you're in great position in your coverage, but then you make a great interception.
Wow. So Tannehill picked off only 3 times all season in his 6 games at quarterback. He's thrown 3 interceptions today. So now LSU leading by 2 touchdowns takes over on the Aggies 28 with 5.5 minutes remaining. Jefferson handing off to Ridley. And Ridley is tackled from behind by Stephen Campbell. Well, it's been a privilege for us to be a part of Fox's 13th AT&T Cotton Bowl telecast, and it will only get better next year as the Fox Sports family of networks is proud to bring you exclusive coverage of some of college football's biggest games within the next 12 months. The first ever Big Ten championship game, the first ever Pac-12 championship game, with a new home for the Conference USA championship game, and the 2012 AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic, all coming to you over the next year on the Fox family of networks. Here's Ridley once again inside the 25 to the 23-yard line.
That's some great news, and I love doing these games. It's such a different atmosphere inside the stadium, and when you've got a venue like we have here in the North Texas area to host the Cotton Bowl, and then you have the Cotton Bowl committee with their hospitality and everything they do, it's just going to be a short time before this becomes, in my opinion, the best bowl, the bowl that all the college teams want to come and be a part of. And we heard it from both of these coaches coming into this game, because Les Miles had been here before and Mike Sherman had been here before. They had experienced the hospitality from the Cotton Bowl committee and told their players how much fun and how much they would enjoy their week up here in North Texas.
Play fake on 3rd and 5. Jefferson's pass is caught for a first down by Tyler Edwards. So the Tigers again able to move the chains with under 4 minutes to play.
Kenny, when we came on the air tonight, we talked about LSU's offense, and they would be successful depending on how their quarterbacks played. Well, Jordan Jefferson has played so well tonight that Jarrett Lee didn't even get an opportunity to step on the field. And I made the statement that if he plays at a high level, that I really feel that LSU can play with anybody in the nation. And he's done that this evening. You can see what this team can be when there's a good quarterback game being played. And that was the issue this season, the inconsistency and the tight fits. But tonight, offense, defense, special teams, everything firing on all cylinders.
This is Spencer Ware. Ware approaching 100 yards on the ground. And a timeout is taken by Texas A&M with 3:20 remaining. The LSU Tigers with over 260 yards on the ground. Spencer Ware, the true freshman, coming into this game, 73 rushing yards tonight, 98.
He's been outstanding this evening. And again, we talked about the fact that Stephen Ridley might not have been able to play tonight. And the person that was going to get all those snaps was Spencer Ware. He's the one who runs with a style similar to Stephen Ridley. So here's a guy whose snaps are reduced, yet still goes out and does more tonight than he's done all season long.
Second down and 6. The toss to Ridley. And Ridley tackled at the 9-yard line by Trent Hunter. And Mike Sherman will use another timeout. There's Ridley, and he spoke to us about Ware. And when you talk about Ware's athleticism, he's thrown a touchdown pass earlier this season against Auburn. He's going to try out for the LSU baseball team. He was a tremendous baseball player in high school in Cincinnati, and he is certainly enjoying his first bowl game.
They are deep at running back. They are deep in the secondary. All 3 interceptions tonight by freshmen. This is a young team, but a very good team. This is a good Texas A&M defense. In my opinion, the reason they're 9-3, not so much the change with Ryan Tannehill. Their offensive line played better at the end of the season. They started running the ball effectively, but this defense was the constant factor all season long. And to put up 38 points on them, and you're in a position, you're inside the 10-yard line with just a little over 3 minutes to go in this game. You have had a great offensive outing against a very talented defense.
38 points, matching the most allowed by Texas A&M this year. Oklahoma State scored 38 points against the Aggies. Jefferson throws it out the back of the end zone. He was under pressure from Sean Porter, so LSU will send out the field goal unit once again. There was a discussion up in the press box that last field goal initially ruled 51 yards, but statisticians got together, determined that it was a 50-yarder. It's still a Cotton Bowl record. It matches the Cotton Bowl record set twice previously. Greg Gant of Alabama, 1973. Carlos Huerta, Miami, 1991. So Jasper joining Gant and Huerta atop the charts.
What are the last names of the replay officials? Gant or Huerta?
Well, Jasper connects this time from 26, extending the LSU lead to 17. We'd like to welcome the men and women in uniform serving around the world, watching today's broadcast in 175 countries on AFN, the American Forces Network. Thanks for all you do. We hope you enjoyed today's telecast. Let's take a look back now at the 1942 Cotton Bowl.
January 1st, 1942. Less than 1 month after Pearl Harbor, Martin Ruby of Texas A&M, along with teammates Sam Porter and Alabama's Paul Spencer, took the oath of enlistment at halftime in the game in the Naval Air Corps.
So back in 1942, Texas A&M and Alabama players joined civilians at halftime and taking the oath of service. They would go on to serve in World War II.
That's why they're the greatest generation. I mean, the sacrifice and the patriotism that generation showed, I don't know if we'll ever match it in our country. We've got some great young men and women of our armed forces doing their best right now with that, but that was a great group of people back then.
They both head coaches have traveled over to the Middle East. Les Miles visited with the soldiers in Iraq a couple of years back. 35-yard line by Nehemiah Hicks. And Mike Sherman visited Baghdad, the Texas A&M head coach, this past spring, and purchased tickets for tonight's game for wounded warriors. He stayed in touch with a group of wounded soldiers from Fort Polk in Louisiana, and they are here at the game tonight.
Well, he just felt that with what Texas A&M is about and the presence they have with the military there, that he needed to go over to visit our troops. And you know, what a great connection, what a great gesture on Mike Sherman's part.
He also invited a couple of Aggie fans he befriended during his club's visit to a local hospital earlier this week. Here's Tyrann Mathieu after the big hit, and he takes it in for a defensive touchdown, and then a late flag is thrown. The reception by Hudson Prelo. The ball came loose on the hit, and it's returned into the end zone by Mathieu.
Well, he could be something special by the time his years end up here at LSU. He has just had a fantastic evening. We just continue to talk about him.
Well, you mentioned, Darryl, all three interceptions.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. 22 on the defense. Penalty is 15 yards from the spot of the foul. Be first down LSU. There's no score.
So the unnecessary roughness takes away the touchdown.
Well, you see the hit by Tyrann Mathieu right there, knocks the ball loose, then just picks the pocket. What a fantastic game he's had. Hudson Prelo couldn't get that secured, and there's Ryan Baker, who got called on the foul.
Penalty took place during the return, so it will be LSU football at the 40-yard line. Point game. Texas A&M with one timeout remaining as Spencer Ware takes it down to the 37 prior to that last play. As we see some extracurricular activity, some of the Aggies frustrated. We started to mention both teams visited local hospitals, and Mike Sherman befriended an 8-year-old on a trip to Children's Hospital, and he gave a couple of tickets to that youngster. Collier Freimel, his dad and grandfather attended Texas A&M.
He was already decked out in his Aggie gear at the hospital. Been a tough night for Mike Sherman, especially the way his team started. They came out, the big kickoff return, jumped out to a 10-0 lead, but Von Miller is just, he hasn't made the impact. He was such a dominant force down the stretch defensively, and hats off to LSU and their game plan. They have really neutralized him this evening.
Second down and 7. Here's Ware, who goes up over 100 yards on the ground for LSU today. We are under 2 minutes remaining. Terrific job by our entire crew, led by producer Larry Lancaster, director Derek Manning, technical producer Pete Chalveras, technical director Dane Crawford, the associate directors Chuck McDonald and Wayne Wilson, broadcast associates Eric Mandia, Von Wagner, Jordan Wolf, and Jonah Meyer. Pre-game show produced by Don Bowie, directed by Bob Levy, as Mike Sherman uses his final timeout. The highlights coordinator is Janice Casaza. Studio technical supervisor is Jack Simmons. The supervisor of remote field operations is Jerry Steinberg. Our statistician in the booth, Dave Corris, spotter Ben Bola. And thanks to the sports information departments as well, led by Michael Bonnet at LSU and Alan Cannon at Texas A&M.
Yeah, thank you very much to both schools. They've been great all week long. What a great time having an opportunity to sit down and meet several of the players from each of these schools. We had the opportunity to meet some great young men.
some of whom will never play another football game.
Yeah. You heard John and Charles talk about that in the pregame show about this being the last game for a lot of these players on the field, and it's got to be definitely mixed emotions.
Others will move on to the National Football League. High expectations for both schools heading into next season.
False start, 64 on the offense. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
It's been an honor to spend the last 4 days around with Pat Summerall, who joined us throughout the telecast tonight, has done play-by-play on 6 Cotton Bowl telecasts dating back to 1964.
There's not many people that can tell stories and have the names be a part of the story like Pat Summerall can. It has been so enjoyable to listen to him reminisce about his times in the NFL and his association with the Cotton Bowl and all the great people that have come across his life.
We also acknowledge the late Lindsey Nelson, who worked 26 Cotton Bowl telecasts and/or radio broadcasts. Brad Sham, the voice of the Dallas Cowboys, doing the radio broadcast tonight on Westwood One.
And also the MC for the Big Play Luncheon yesterday. He's been a fixture with the Cotton Bowl for many, many years as well.
Did a terrific job during the Big Play Luncheon, as you did as well when you spoke to the crowd for a couple of minutes and sent the perfect message out to the kids who were going to be on the field, on the sideline today. And you talked about the importance and the metaphor as football translates to life. The LSU Tigers, playing in their 5th Cotton Bowl, are going to win their 11th game of the season. And our AT&T player of the game with 5 receptions, including 3 touchdowns, tying Keyshawn Johnson's AT&T Cotton Bowl record. Terrence Tolliver, the senior from Hempstead, Texas.
And really, while the game was hanging in the balance and very close in the first half, 2 really big plays by Terrence Tolliver that kind of got that separation from A&M, and A&M was never really to recover from that point. But I think we got a glimpse of what a lot of these players felt that this passing game could be for LSU all season long, and for one reason or another, it didn't come together for them tonight. But at the Cotton Bowl this evening, the AT&T Cotton Bowl tonight, that LSU passing game reached the level that they've all been waiting for.
Jarrett Lee in the game to take a knee. He played a large part in the success of the Tigers this season. Not getting in the game until the final moments today, as Jordan Jefferson helped lead the way for Les Miles, and the LSU Tigers victorious in the 75th AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic.
I would like to see the votes between Terrence Tolliver and Jordan Jefferson. I would assume that it would come down to the wire, because he played an outstanding game tonight, and we talked about the play of the quarterback for LSU, that if they were consistent and played well tonight, that it would be very difficult for Texas A&M to win this game. And I think that Jordan Jefferson exceeded everybody's expectations, to the point where Les Miles made the decision not to go with his normal rotation, and in the 3rd series stayed with Jordan Jefferson, and Jarrett Lee didn't get on the field till right there at the end. But a great decision by Les Miles, a great game by Jordan Jefferson. Congratulations to Terrence Tolliver for the MVP, and that guy right there, Tyrann Mathieu, what a great game he had. I mean, the future is bright for the LSU defense. That secondary, those young guys played extremely well tonight.
Great point by you earlier. 3 interceptions, all by freshmen. For LSU, their first Cotton Bowl victory since January 1st, 1966. They're only here once since then, back in 03. LSU now 5-1 in bowl games under Les Miles. And for Texas A&M, the conclusion to a terrific season. They won 9 games. Their 6-game win streak comes to an end, but nothing to be ashamed of for Mike Sherman's Texas A&M Aggies.
Not at all. Not when you beat Nebraska, Oklahoma, and Texas in the same season. So a great season by the Texas A&M Aggies. Ended on a sour note, but they're heading in the right direction. For the first time in a long time, Texas A&M is moving in the right direction.
Not only did they win all those games this season, they did it all during the month of November. So the Aggies finish at 9-4, and we send it downstairs now. Jordan Jefferson, the LSU quarterback, is with John Lynch.
Hey, Jordan, A&M came out hot here today. Had you guys on your heels a little bit. You guys settled down, started winning the line of scrimmage, and then it was all good from there.
Yes, sir. You know, we had a good game plan going into this game. Texas A&M came out in the first half, giving us everything they had, and you know, like you said, we just had to calm down and let the butterflies out of us, calm down and play our game.
Now, it seemed like at the end of the year, you really started to get comfortable at the quarterback position, started passing the ball very well. That carried over to this bowl game.
Definitely did. I just had to stay positive throughout the year. Things weren't going for me right that first half of the season, but that second half and the stretch of the SEC games that we had, I had to pick my game up. My teammates, coaches, everybody was behind me, was really inspired me and helped me, push forward and do what I have to do. And, from here on out, I'm trying to change over and make sure I don't go back to what I did the first half of the season.
Well, congratulations, Jordan, and I'm going to throw it over to your wide receiver, Terrence Tolliver, with Charles Davis.
All right, appreciate it. All right.
That's 112 yards, 3 touchdowns. I remember someone yelling at you in pregame that you could be the X factor.
Coaches have faith in me. They just throw me the ball. I've been making plays throughout the bowl practices throughout the year, and I just want to make it home.
One thing I saw you doing is the matchups, no matter who was out there covering you, it didn't.
Same thing when he told me against Florida when I had 111 yards. I just came out here and worked hard, and I just left everything on the field.
So Terrence Tolliver, the offensive MVP in tonight's game, 5 receptions, 112 yards, and 3 touchdowns, tying the AT&T Cotton Bowl record set previously by Keyshawn Johnson of USC. Tyrann Mathieu has been named the outstanding defensive player in this game. LSU wins it by the score of 41-24. Chris Rose, take it away.
All right, Kenny, thank you very much. Let's hear it now for the champions of the 75th AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic, the LSU Tigers. Congratulations, guys. And here for the trophy presentation, I welcome in the chairman of this great game, Tommy Bain. Tommy?
Thank you very much, Chris. On behalf of John Stanky and AT&T and the Cotton Bowl Board of Directors, we want to congratulate Coach Les Miles and the LSU Tigers on winning the 75th AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic. Congratulations. Here's our trophy.
Les, while your kids celebrate, what does it
celebrate? I might add.
What does it mean to bring this championship back to Baton Rouge for the first time in 45 years?
Well, it's the Cotton Bowl. It's a significant championship. It's something that we'll cherish for quite some time. This Cotton Bowl luncheon, where it showed all the history of the Cotton Bowl, just really made it more important to us. So no, it'll mean a lot. It's a very good team. I'm very fortunate to represent one of the finest schools in the country. The experience that our guys are having in Louisiana is as good as there is in America. And we're thrilled.
In 6 years now at LSU, you've won at least 11 games in a year 4 times. Why do you guys continue to dominate year in and year out?
Guys like to come to LSU. It's a great experience. You get a great degree. They have the opportunity to go on and get great jobs, and they play for championships. We got it going.
You told me you love LSU because you have so much fun. Did you have fun tonight?
Had a great time tonight, to be honest with you.
Go celebrate with your team, Coach. Congratulations.
Thank you much.
Kenny Albert, back on upstairs to you.
Thanks very much, Chris Rose. Congratulations to Les Miles and the LSU Tigers. You've been watching the AT&T postgame show from Cowboys Stadium. in Arlington, Texas. LSU over Texas A&M tonight by the score of 41-24 as the Tigers continue to celebrate their victory. Kenny Albert, Darrell Johnston in the broadcast booth while the Tigers spotted the Aggies 10 early points in the first quarter. Big kickoff return by Coriel Judy, but after that, all LSU.
You know, it took them a long time to get respect all throughout the season. I think the way that they finished their season with the victory tonight against a good quality opponent like Texas A&M, who's a team that's reestablishing their tradition. I think you need to watch out for LSU next year in the national championship hunt, and I wouldn't go to sleep on Texas A&M either. I think we had two good teams tonight that had good seasons this year, but should be even better next year.
LSU wins 11 games for only the 6th time in school history as they celebrate their victory in the 75th AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic. Next on Fox, except on the West Coast, late local news. Check local listings. And then on Sunday, NFL on Fox postseason action. The Packers and the Eagles in the wild card round. Coverage begins at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. So the LSU Tigers with a 41-24 victory here in Arlington, Texas. Promotional considerations paid for by the following. What a night here in Arlington. The first 73 Cotton Bowl Classics played at Cotton Bowl Stadium. This is the second year here in Arlington. A game with a tremendous history. And we thank you for letting us into your living rooms tonight. The first ever primetime Cotton Bowl Classic. For Darrell Johnston, Charles Davis, John Lynch, Chris Rose, and Pat Summerall, this is Kenny Albert saying so long. The final score once again, LSU 41, Texas A&M 24. For more information on today's game or the latest NFL news, log on to foxsports.com. So long from Arlington.